Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Sam trying to spin to win on Zwift. Hope I'll sweat and suffer enough today to earn your subscription. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks, it is great to see you again. As you will see from the footage, I am currently in 17th place on the GC. I think I moved up around 4 spots after stage 5, which was a bit of a surprise as I didn't think I did too well on that stage. And I lost over 6 minutes on the fastest time. It is also possible that people ahead of me on the GC going into stage 5 actually didn't do the stage, and if so, they will have dropped out of the GC rankings. But either way, I am happy with 17th at this point. And I have to admit, I'm even happier with being the first 50 plus on the ranking. I am flying the flag for the old fart brigade. But on a more somber note, I'm still almost 15 minutes behind the leader. That guy is a seriously strong rider. As you can see me warming up on the screen here, I wanted to do a brief review of the course, as it can really catch you out unless you have either done this course before or you have done your homework before your race. As already mentioned, we are doing the Roule-Ma-Poule course in France. As you can see from the screen, it starts with a descent, leading into the Acqueduc before flattening out for a while until you have to slug up the Petit Combe. It is 23 kilometers long with a total 145 meters of climbing, and most of this is clearly coming at the end. However, crucially, this is not the full story. If I show you what it says on the companion app, you will notice it says we have a total of 263 meters of climbing. That is a difference of 118 meters from the course profile that I showed you earlier. And the reason for this difference is the lead-in. It is 3.1 kilometers long, and from the start pen, you basically have to climb up most of the Petit Combe basically out of the gate. I took a look at a race I did a couple of months back, and as you will see, the lead-in took me just over 6 minutes in that race. And if I remember correctly, that is actually when I set my best ever 5-minute power. So, if we move back to the course route, we first need to get over the lead-in. If I can manage to stay with the front group over the lead-in, and that is a big if, then I'm hoping I can stay with the front group until we have to do the climb again at the end of the race. As such, my strategy will be to basically blow all of my matches right away with the hope of staying in the front pack during the lead-in. I hope I can then recover somewhat during the descent and the relatively flat section in the middle of the race until we get to the climb again. My 5-minute power is reasonably good for a Cat B rider, if I have a decent legs today, that is. So I'm hoping the plan will work, but there's only one way to find out. As we get ready to start the race, I also wanted to have a quick look at the competition I'm facing today. Based on the sign-up figures on the companion app, we have around 55 Cat A's, over 100 Cat B's, and close to 70 Cat C's. And as with all SISU races, it is a mass start, so clearly this is going to be a very competitive race. So, after looking at the course and the competition, my goals for the race are as follows. My A goal will be to try to finish top 20 in category B. I think this will be tough, but if I have a good day, it is possible, I think. My B goal will be to finish first in the 50 and over category. As we saw from the 20-minute watts per kilo numbers, there are a few people ahead of me, so this may be a tough battle, but I'll give it my best. And finally, I'll see if I can get close to my 5-minute power record, as that is likely to be required if I am to stay with the front group through the lead-in. Currently, my record is 366 watts, or around 4.7 watts per kilo. As per usual, I've added chapter descriptions to the video, so you can move to the sections of the race that is of interest to you, and I will do some voiceovers at the important parts of the race. And Now it's time to see if we can spin to win on Zwift. Let's get ready to rumble. As expected, the start is very spicy. And as you will see from the footage, it just does not let up. I expected this, if I'm honest, but I was secretly hoping that it would be a hard but not crazy pace up the first climb, so that people were saving their legs somewhat for the final climb at the end of the race. But that was not to be, or at least not for me, as I had to go full gas from the start just to keep up with the front. I will fast forward a bit here so you can see how I get on, and we will pick it up a bit later up the first climb. We are now around 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the race, and I'm already in trouble. My heart rate is closing in on 170 beats per minute, and I know that I'm on borrowed time when I go over that. In fact, I'm already on borrowed time when I'm over 165 beats per minute, but I try to ignore that. I'm in position 50 to 60 at this point, and based on the competition and the mass start and all of the category A's here, that is around where I thought I would be. We will fast forward again here to the top of the climb to see if I survive. We are now closing in on the top of the climb. My heart rate is well over 170, and I am deep in the red zone here. I have dropped to around position 65, and at this point I just hope I can get to the top, and then hopefully gain a few spots on the descent before finding a group for the rest of the race. At this point, I can say I did in fact break my 5-minute power record during this climb. I got to around 382 watts, or a 16 watt increase over my previous best, which I am super pleased with. I am, however, somewhat demoralized at not being able to hold the front group at my best ever 5-minute power effort. But I gave it absolutely everything, so it is what it is. In fact, I'll give you a small soundbite of how I felt at the top. I must apologize in advance here to any sensitive viewers. My bad.
Come on.
We rejoined the action at the Acqueduc comp. What I had hoped for at the top of the initial climb had in fact come true. I was able to gain some spots on the downhill, and I settled into what was to become the main chasing group of the race. With around 20 or so riders, it consisted of a mix of Cat A's and Cat B's, and I was pleasantly surprised to see some of the Cat B GC leaders in this group. It made me feel a little less bad about being dropped at the start. I was also pleased to see that we were slowly starting to catch riders not able to stick with the front group. Nothing much happened between the Acqueduc comp and the start of the final climb. A few people were complaining about people not doing turns at the front, but there was no way I was in any shape to assist. And also I didn't really see any large group of chasers, so I just drafted as much as I could. I'm already tired at the start of the climb, and I'm a bit annoyed at my luck with the power-ups. Out of 4 chances, I managed to get 3 burritos and 1 ghost, all completely useless for this race. A feather or a draft ban would have helped, at least a little bit, I think, but no sir, not for Sam. I managed to stay with the group to not quite halfway up the final climb, but then, as you will see, the elastic snaps. Just nothing I could do about it, and I just had to try to survive as best as I could from then on. I will fast forward until the end of the race, and we can then have a quick chat about the results and my final thoughts. As we approach the finish, I am completely done in. I was very happy to see the back of this race, and even though I lost the group up the final climb, I was happy with my effort as I pushed as hard as I could all the way to the finish. I am pleased I managed to stay ahead of the Cat A rider that was closing in on me at the end, but also a bit annoyed at not catching the rider just a few seconds in front of me, and more on that rider in just a second. But overall, I was quite pleased with my race. As I'm literally collapsing here off the bike, we can see I finished 17th in category B. When we jump over to Zwift Power, I'm placed 15th because 2 riders must not be registered on Zwift Power. So clearly, officially, I finished 15th. A closer look shows that I was 2 minutes and 38 seconds behind the winner. But looking at his figures, my guess is he's a Cat A rider that just doesn't know it yet. Insane figures for a Cat B race. The same could probably be said for the top 3 in fact. And after having had another look, I can honestly say this is the best set of figures I've ever seen in a Cat B race for the top 15 or so riders. Overall, I am very pleased with my effort today and my new 5-minute power record. I can't believe I managed to get to 4.9 watts per kilo. If you would have told me that 6 months ago, I would have honestly thought you were crazy. The only fly in the ointment is that I wasn't the fastest old guy. If you remember, I didn't quite catch the rider in front of me at the end of the race. Well, that was Mr. Tom Bick in the 60 plus category. Chapeau to him. I can only hope I can match his figures when I get to 60. Very, very impressive. So, how did I do against my goals? Well, I did manage to get within the top 20 in Cat B. I managed to come first in the 50 plus category. Well, sort of, if you don't count Mr. Bick. But since he was in the 60 and over category, I won't. And I did manage to beat my 5-minute power record, which I am super pleased with. I will end the video here. I hope you enjoyed watching me suffer, and I did indeed suffer today. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me trying to build this tiny corner of the YouTube-verse. And if you have any comment suggestions, please put them in the comments below the video. I will read them for sure. This is Sam, trying to spin to win on Zwift. Bye for now.